That sounds like the beginning of a Hangover movie. Oh damn! I gave you the wrong stuff.
I work so hard to keep these fucking labels, you know, together. You know, it's so much work to keep the labels, you know, straight. From the plants, the clones, all that is so much fucking work. You know, it's like I try and keep that shit all organized, man. It's just a lot of fucking work. You know, I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
You know. Top that one. Let's start this one with some food and food on the bottom there.
Shit, dude.
Some more strawberry cheesecake. Wait, is this on? Yep. Strawberry cheesecake.
It's old Trumpy and Peach.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. They're not going to remove them.
Well, no, it's the whole thing is so close.
Unless they do go to a secret ballot, then there's a chance.
Yeah.
There's a chance, which it's like there's a small chance that could happen.
No, because they got to be on the record.
No, they don't. There's a small chance that they could make a secret ballot. There's a small chance that could happen. If that happens, then
he's going to get voted off the island.
It could happen. It could happen.
I'm surprised I haven't heard that joke yet in the media. He's going to get voted off the island because he's a reality show guy.
Right, and then you're going to be hearing, "You're fired."
You're fired.
Right?
Oh man.
You'll hear that shit so much. Let's top it off.
Well, there is a risk the whole thing backfires and he gets reelected because of it.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Well, I think just because his supporters will be pissed off.
But he doesn't have enough supporters.
And the Democrats will be disappointed that they didn't follow through. Like, people will be disappointed that Democrats didn't follow through and get rid of him. It's like, okay, you impeached him, but really nothing's changed.
It's only, you know? he's only got 35%. He's got 35%. Yeah. You know what I mean? He's got 35% of the country. You know what I mean?
Well, who's gonna win with the Democrats? Like, who do you think is going to be his opponent? If it was up to me, it'd be Tulsi Gabbard. She's the one I like.
Nah, she's out of here.
Well, she's got too small support.
She does. Yeah, I think.
But she's the one who I like the most.
Yeah. Damn, it's so up in the air. It's so up in the air. I mean, right now it's just like, it's just juggling right now. It's just like the balls are up in the air. Who can get it right now? It's just.
I think Bernie would beat Trump.
Yeah, I do think he's the one who could beat
He's going
Trump.
to have a hard time winning the nomination because the whole fucking thing is rigged against him. Man, they don't want him.
They don't want him. They absolutely do not want him. They fucking hate him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they do not want him to get the nomination. They absolutely fucking do not want him to get the nomination. Because they know he can win. He can fucking beat Trump. They know that. So.
Yeah. Plus, I think that he's not part of their corrupt little game.
That's the point. That's why they don't want him to get the nomination.
I mean, and you know what's funny? He should really run on that, but it doesn't seem he has the balls to run on that. Like, he needs to be on that stage saying these people are all fucking corrupt.
Yeah.
But he won't do it. But if you think, that's how Trump won. Trump didn't win by going after Democrats. He went by going after the Republicans. That's how he got the nomination.
Yeah.
Jeb Bush, they're all fucking corrupt.
Yeah.
Right? And because here's the thing, like, I mean, which is funny. I mean, you think that's why Trump got elected, was to end corruption. Like, he like ran on that message of draining the swamp and all that shit. And they're all fucking corrupt, right?
He's the worst one.
I don't know that he's the worst one, man. If you knew some of the rackets these establishment politicians have been running for decades,
Yeah.
his little real estate corruption seems pittance compared to what they've been doing with global warfare and kickbacks to military-industrial complex and all that bullshit. The rackets they've been running for decades make his crimes look like fucking petty theft. But now that he's in that position himself, it
Yeah.
won't be long before you can see he's trying to do it,
Yeah.
right? Shaking leaders down for this, right? What are you gonna do, man? Because
So
whoever
fucked.
we elect is just gonna be as corrupt. Because I think an honest person would not be able to actually get elected.
Yeah.
That's the hard
They don't
part.
want him, man. They don't want an honest person who's gonna be like, oh, let's fuck all the billionaires and like make all the working people, the ones who are the beneficiary of their own work.
Right.
They don't want that. You know what I mean? They wanna keep the status quo. They want to keep it going, and they absolutely do not want that shit, man. They want to keep the status quo.
Sure, status quo works for obviously the people who are in charge and rich.
Oh man,
That's why I say, like, I hear people talk about capitalism versus socialism versus. You know what? These isms doesn't matter. If the people running the show are fucking corrupt, it doesn't matter what your ism is. You're gonna be fucked, right? Because when you have socialism in place, if the people running it are corrupt, everyone else is gonna be fucked. Right?
You watch, man. I'm not gonna be around to see it, but there's gonna be a massive die-off. Watch. There's gonna be. You see how many? You see
I
there's
don't know.
humanity's counted in the billions right now. It's not gonna be.
We've just had the best decade we've ever had in terms of
Yeah, but that's for the rich
sustainability and
people.
growth and-
That's for
No,
the rich people.
dude, you go back just 50 years ago, right? Like if you broaden your thinking to a longer time horizon than the
Yeah.
past presidential administration,
Yeah.
you go back to 50 years ago, half of the global population was living in extreme poverty. Today,
Yeah.
that's less than 10%.
Yeah, but look at people like they can't afford rent. Like it's like what does it cost to get a decent place to
I
live?
agree. That doesn't mean bad things aren't happening, but there is this steady trend of improvement that is happening where we're using less resources and getting more out of those resources than we were before.
Yeah.
I mean, here's a classic example. Look at the plastic that went into this, but think of how many devices that replaces. A
Yeah.
camera, a phone, a tape recorder,
Yeah.
a flashlight. We're getting more out of less resources than we ever did.
Okay, but look at where people live. Look at where people live. People have to share a home, right?
Yeah.
Like how many people? Like my dad was a bus driver. We had a nice house.
I know.
We went on nice
Well,
vacations.
I agree. There is this economic disparity happening where the rich are getting richer, the poor are not moving ahead the way they should, so they're falling behind and deeper into it. I
Right.
get that. That's absolutely true.
Right.
That's from corruption, man. That is fucking
Right.
outright corruption.
We had a nice house. We had a house with a swimming pool. We had a fireplace. We had a big lot. My dad was a bus driver. My mom was a part-time teacher's aide.
Yeah.
We had it nice. You know what I mean? We had a big lot. Now there's 3 two-story houses on our lot. You know what I mean? And
Right.
big families living in those houses.
Well, that's population growth, right? More and more people got to be packed into smaller and smaller places.
Yeah. So, but
Unless you come out here and you buy acres, you know what I mean?
Right.
But obviously 7.5 billion people can't live like this. Right?
yeah. Less people. I mean, people have to be like. You can't live like you used to. You know what I mean? It's
We're
like.
living better. When you say used to, like for example, you think about like your dad's situation, right?
Yeah.
Where it was, yeah, he was able to afford rent and all those other things, but think of all the things that weren't available no matter how rich you were.
Well, they didn't have them then.
They just didn't have it, right? So the fact that we have better medical technology, better information technology, all kinds of things that are better,
Yeah.
it improves our life. We have medicines that didn't exist then. Our life expectancy has gone up as a result of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think there's reason to be optimistic.
I
You know,
think
like for example, 50 years ago, in the 1970s, right, in the
Yeah.
early 70s, they said that if we keep growing at the rate we're growing, population-wise and economically and all that, by the year 2000, we're going to run out of metal,
Yeah.
aluminum and steel and that kind of thing. But we didn't. You know why? Because we figured out how to use that stuff more efficiently.
Yeah.
Like a tin can. I just read this the other day. A tin can went from having like 85 grams of aluminum in it down to like 13 grams of aluminum in it.
Right.
Because they just make them thinner and construct it better, and so it doesn't need to use as much metal and all that.
Right.
So all of a sudden now the metal supply is, well, 5 times as much as we thought it was.
Right.
Same thing with gas. Like oil, they said if it's population growth, we're going to run out in 50 years, they said.
Yeah.
But then the fuel injector was invented. And all of a sudden the average gas mileage of cars doubled over the next decade.
Right.
And it was like, okay, well now we got 100 years worth of oil. Right?
Right.
You know what I mean? So we're the example that I read was, the Stone Age didn't end because we ran out of stones. Right?
Yeah, right.
It was because we figured out how to use copper.
Right.
And the Copper Age, the Bronze Age, didn't end because we ran out of that. It was because we figured out how to use iron and steel.
Right.
And the Oil Age is not going to end because we run out of oil. It's going to end because we're already seeing it end, right? With
Right.
electric cars and renewable energy and solar and all the stuff. Like, we're already making the transition we need to make to get off of fossil fuel. I mean, it will take decades, but better to do it than not do it.
Right.
Because it's going to, we have 400 million cars in this country, and it's going to take 20 years to replace them with electrics. But along the way, we'll be using less and less and less oil. So we're going to be all right. I don't think that there will be a big die-off. I think we'll figure out how to make more food in smaller amounts of land. And organically,
And we're
too.
polluting the planet. You know what I mean? It's like, we're making it so that it's everything is just I don't know. It's just making it unsustainable.